and welcome to Fleet Action Report, episode 48 Plasma, besides in your giant displays. I'm Nikodas,
I'm Grebog.
and you can blame him for that name. That's
Hey,
all Grebog.
I was trying to think of what goes with plasma, but then the only thing I could think of is people's giant plasma displays. You know.
Hey, it works.
So, how has your week been?
My week has been mostly uneventful. I've spent quite a bit of time on my games this week, which, unlike the previous, I don't know, 2 months. But I played a bit on Assassin's Creed. I played a bit on STO. I played a little bit on SWTOR and even Final Fantasy 14. So I kind of ran the gamut this week. Oh, and I spent a little bit of time. I decided to get my exercise in, and I actually spent some time in Beat Saber with some new songs I downloaded. So that was fun.
That's how
I
you get
actually got some
exercise.
Linkin. Yeah, Yeah, I got some Linkin Park on there now. If you, I discovered that if you set the difficulty higher on Beat Saber, it makes you move around enough that, I mean, at least in my case, um, I might get a little winded. Not that it's a strenuous, hardcore exercise, but hey, it gets you up, it gets you moving. You do that for 20, 30 minutes. It could qualify as a workout, I suppose.
Uh, Getting your heart rate above a certain level definitely, I believe, counts for at least a cardio workout. Um, I used to do something sort of similar with the we have a Wii, and we had a boxing. I don't know if I want to call it a game, but it basically had you throwing punches, and you had to keep up with it. And yeah, so I mean, I can see how like with Beat Saber, that could become. You move your arms around fast enough, hard enough, long enough. You get your heart rate up.
Well, and I know like the Wii Fit was a thing for a while, and some people have done exercise to like Dance Revolution and whatnot. So, I mean, it's up to individual choice if you want to count it or not. But at bare minimum, it's better than sitting on the couch twiddling your thumbs as you're watching a show. So take that as you will. Um, but that's it. What about your week? How you been?
Let's see, my week. My Horde raid team is still working on Sire. Um, that boss is kind of become a pain in our butts. We're really close. It's that phase 3. We pretty much have, like, phase 1 has been down for a while. Phase 2 was iffy, but I'd say this last week we now have phase 2 no longer having really any issues there. It's now become like finishing off the phase 3, getting the dance in that final phase. Um, Sadly, it's taking a longer than I expected us, but I mean, it's a end for a tier, end boss for a tier. So I guess it is what it is for this team. We'll get it. It's just, yeah, I expect this week. So, outside
I
of
wish you the
that,
best of luck.
well, thank you. Outside of that, let's see. D&D. I was kind of pleased to hear players starting to put together pieces of a puzzle that I have been throwing at them since apparently 2017 in the beginning of the campaign, and now that things are being thrown back in their face, they're like, "Oh, now I understand this and that, and oh, and that." It was kind of nice to actually hear things start click together, and yeah, no one died. Mainly role play. this last game. I'm sure there'll be more combat for the next time for that group. Um, Depending upon my other group, they may have combat coming this Sunday. We'll see. Depends on what they do, how much planning they do.
And if we actually play,
Hopefully we'll play. But
we'll see.
what is there a special holiday on Sunday? Is this Sunday Father's Day? No. That's the
No,
20th. That's a little ways yet. Um,
no, but it does seem as though both your games and my game have had a rash of cancellations.
we had a rash of people sick. So like it sounds like we if the people would have spoke up about being sick, we might not have had the game yesterday because we had some that sick then. But one of them toughed it out. One tried to tough it out. But yeah, hopefully they get feeling better soon.
I had actually I tried to run a game in real life on Saturday, and I had a cancellation for that too, due to illness. So yeah, that wasn't fun. It's kind of been a rough couple months. Luckily, nobody has COVID, so take that as you will. All right. So this week in STO, I think that's enough talking about us. Let's talk about the game. This week in STO, we have an Admiralty bonus. I think I flipped this, didn't I? I said you were going to do the Admiralty.
It's fine.
That's okay. We have an Admiralty bonus week starting June 3rd, lasting until the 10th. So you got a couple more days on this Admiralty bonus. Get those Admiralty missions in. Okay, so we'll flip it. Now you get to do the next one.
So the only Chronos Endures event is still ongoing. You have until the 24th of June to complete or get close enough that you can just do the buyout for cheap. So when you pull up the events tab, you can see here what it counts for 2 and what counts for 1. Patrols are 1 point, so you'd have to do 2 patrols to get your 2 points for the day. But otherwise, you can run like there's episodes, TFOs you can do to get your 2 points. And sadly, the new TFO remain Klingon. Some people are still struggling a little bit on what to do there. But other than that, it's still fun. Yeah. The reward is the ground set. It gets you 2 ground weapons for you. One's melee, Batleth, and then also disruptor pistols. Gets you a nice personal shield and armor. And as we said before, we're not sure how good or bad this set's going to be. At the very worst, it'll be a good set to have to level up on new tunes, but at the best, it may be your captain's new greatest equipment set. So
we'll see.
We will.
All right, so Mud is running one of his special events again. This actually isn't active yet. It's going to start on Friday. I think it's Friday. It's my math right there. It's Friday the 10th. Starts on the 10th. Everything in Mud's market is going on 50%, or sorry, 75%. But there's a new pack called the Into Darkness and Beyond Choice Pack. This is going to be 50% off. So the total price is 200. It's 29,500 Zen, or $295. And along with that, you get to make 3 choices. So you can get the Vengeance Intel Dreadnought. You can get a pack that includes the Kelvin Heavy Destroyer and the D7 Heavy Destroyer. You can get a pack that has the Kelvin Tellura, the D4X Klingon, or the Constitution pack. These are all Kelvin ships. You can get a pack that has the Vulcan Experimental Scout Vessel. You can get 2 Tier 6 ship coupons. That's 100% off a Zen Store ship. You get 2 of them. You can get a pack of 9 T6X experimental upgrade tokens. You can get 1 Elite Phoenix token, or you can get 50 lockbox keys or master keys. So you get 3 of those. So the Vengeance, the Heavy Destroyers, and there's 2 of them there. The pack of 3, the Vulcan Experimental, 2 tier 6 ship tokens, 9 tier T6X, 1 Elite Phoenix, or 50 keys. I tried to do that a second time without stuttering all over myself, and I still stuttered all over myself. So there you go. You can pick any 3 of those. Now you can choose. You can buy this pack multiple times. Each time you get 3 items. The ships are all account unlocks, so there is no reason to get a ship pack more than once, but everything else you can choose. If you wanted 150 keys, this is a way to get it.
I don't know that that's the best price for 150 keys, but
I don't either, but you could certainly do that. It is, again, from the 10th when it launches to the 24th, this pack is going to be 50% off. Without the 50%, it's $295. It's basically going to be a little less than $150. But with this, you can get up to 7 tier 6 ships, with 5 of them being lockbox ships, or what were formerly lockbox ships. And these are all account unlocks. So there's a lot to kind of love about this. I've been very tempted, but it is still expensive. I probably will not end up getting it. But hey, if you have the extra money sitting around, get it while it's 50% off.
and
The value is there.
yeah, I was like, I'm tempted. When we were talking about this pack, to me, this is probably one of the better values for a mud pack. Um, I the other ones I always have felt have been way too pricey because the most you can get is like 3 ships. This you can get like 6 ships. You know,
7.
7. Well, you you can only pick.
If you get the pack of 3 and the pack of 2, that's 5, and then get the 2 tier 6 tokens, that makes 7. And all of them are account unlocks. So,
or you could get
you
6 of the lockbox ships that then are account
correct.
unlocked. So, but yeah, to me, this is probably one of the better values. And if you play Klingon and Federation, this gives you a variety. I don't know that there
Or Romulan.
or
There's
Romulan.
a Talara in there.
Yep. There's one Romulan ship in there too. So I mean, it gives you a little flavor of everything.
And the Vulcan ship, if you like Vulcans.
If you like Vulcans, I mean, live long and prosper and all that fun stuff.
Vulcan Love Slave 47. I think that's still available at Quarks.
And then also, they are doing a lifetime subscription sale. They did have it at 50% off for just a few days at the start of this. Unfortunately, the time has already passed on that 50% off, and you can now it's only $100 off. So instead of being $299.99, it is right now until July 8th is $199.99. Kramer's asking. So there is.
I'm already responding.
Okay, I was just gonna say it out because there's a pack that has 3 ships, then there's another pack in there that has 2 more of the lockbox ships. So that's where you can get 5 lockbox ships because you have the Kelvin Heavy Destroyer, the D7 Heavy Destroyer pack, then you have the Kelvin Talor and the D4X and the Constitution pack. and then you have the choice between, two more choice. You have some more choices about more ships, or coupons. I like the Elite Phoenix token. That's another way to get another ship.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one because you can, yeah, then you can get a Phoenix ship, one of the ships out of the
A lot of the
Phoenix
Phoenix
collection.
ships are from the old events that you like. If you had missed some of the old winter summer event, I don't know if which ships are in there. I'd have to look again, but
Now those are not. That one is not an account unlock. That would be a per character, just like any other time you would get a Phoenix ship token.
yeah. But again, so lifetime sub going on now till July 8th, $100 off. Something I feel is worth it. It's unfortunately missed the 50% off of the lifetime sub sale. That would have been better deal, but I still think even at the $199.99, if you're gonna play for any length of time, is definitely worth it.
Before we jump into our primary target here, I'm going to take a moment and apologize to our viewers. I made a comment a couple episodes ago about the new 32nd century phasers and how I believe that they would become the new meta. My assumption there was totally incorrect. The proc on the 32nd century phasers lowers the cooldown of bridge officer powers. But, like any other weapon proc, it is at a 2.5% chance per firing cycle to activate. That is not per shot, that is per firing cycle. As such, the number of times that would actually activate, even if you have every weapon slot decked out in one of these, it's still kind of a low chance for you to activate enough for it to make a large difference. So the meta is still going to be those weapons that do not function on a proc but have a static bonus, such as the spiral wave disruptors or the sensor linked phasers, those sort of items. So I apologize for my assumption there. To me, it sounded really good, but once I kind of better understood the math and why procs are not the way to go, I see why it's not. Now the visual is still pretty cool. They're a greenish color on those weapons. So if you want to use it for Space Barbie, as people call it, then by all means go for it. But as far as being the new meta, I was totally wrong on that. Any comments there?
So you went into the weeds and into the math nerd den and found out, 2.5% doesn't work like you expected.
Yeah, basically. I guess back in season 13, they normalized the way procs work in the game, which basically amounted to a huge nerf on the procs. And so any weapon that functions on that 2.5% proc chance just isn't worth it. It just doesn't function like I guess it did originally prior to season 13.
Yeah.
So, all right. Primary target. We have a PvP episode coming up. You're all invited to join us. If you would care to do so, you can find ways to contact us at our website. That's fleetactionreport.com, or you can find us in game. I would be at Nikodas, Nikodas. Grebog would be at Real Grebog, and that is Grebog. So lots of ways to find us if you're interested. The reason we're doing these episodes, this will be our third episode focusing on energy builds. The first one was phasers. The second one was disruptors. Now we're going to do plasma. This is to help anybody who might be wanting to join us for our 1-year anniversary, which is going to be a PvP episode. So if you're not quite up to spec and you're doing a plasma build, hey, this is for you. So I'm just going to jump right in here. I'll do the episodes. Actually, Grebog, you do the episodes because I want to talk about the Zen store when we get there.
Okay. So, for episodes, there's the Caustic Plasma weapons, which is great for Romulan Reman, or, well, if you're part of the Romulan Republic character, you can, in their story, in the Vengeance arc Last Stand mission, you can get the Caustic Plasma weapons. They are supposed to be some of the better ones that I was reading about. Unfortunately, if you're Federation or Klingon standard, you won't be able to get those. There are, though, comparable other weapons to be able to pick up, but that is one of the missions that has weapons. You just have to be part of the Romulan Republic. Then, in New Frontiers arc, I cannot say these. Scylla and Charybdis. What?
It's pronounced Scylla and Charybdis.
Yeah, whatever.
It's from the Odyssey, man.
Okay. There's a console. It's a tactical console. It's the plasma relay. Essentially, it is the console that you would want to stack if you cannot get other consoles for the plus plasma damage, and you want to run it till you have enough of them, unless you can get another way to get them, another version, which we'll talk about later. Reputations we have in here again the Discovery, mainly because Tilly's shields, the Mycelial Harmonic Antimatter, Matter-Antimatter core is still something we recommend for everyone to pick up when you can. Those are tier 4 for the antimatter core and tier 5 for the shields. Lorca's custom fire controls, while it does, I believe, give only phaser damage, it's still, because of the crit severity that it has, like the bonuses it has on it, is still a good console for other weapon types. I use it on a disruptor build. No, I guess it doesn't have. I thought it said it was phaser. But anyway,
Well,
it's a good console.
The console itself is not phaser, but if you're going to do the 3-piece set, it banks off the dual heavy beam bank, which is either disruptor or phaser. Unfortunately, they do not offer a plasma variety.
A lot of people like this console mainly for the crit chance it gives you and the fact it has weapon power setting. Because you can never have enough weapon power when you're firing all your weapons all at once. And that's a big thing. Then when you move down to the competitive, you still have the competitive impulse engines. I've been learning more about some of that. I do use one of them on this current build. I have the prevailing innervated impulse, which means whenever I do a fire mode, I get a big speed boost and turn rate boost. Now, if you are, say, an escort and are already moving fast, and you find it hard and it's screwing up your cannons and your scatter volley and your when you're different fire modes for your cannons, I would actually you should look at one of the other ones. There is a fortified, which does, instead of when you are, I believe it was, yes, fortified, when you do a heal or shield heal, whether it be hull shield, you end up doing the speed boost then. So it could be like you're taking heavy damage, you hit one of your heals, and it'll help you get out of there, get away from whoever's blowing you up. So you might think about that one for like the escorts in a cannon build. Both of them from tier 3 competitive. The Lukari have all kinds of plasma. They are pretty much built for plasma. They have advanced Piezo-Plasma weapons that you can pick up, and they also have a console, the Piezo Electric Focuser. And let me pull up the focuser quick. That's the deflector. Here's one of the. Well, here is a plasma beam, and as you can see, you get an extra bonus if you get your Lukari rep maxed out. You get a +2 bonus, so go to tier 6 on your reps if you can. You get extra damage on some of the stuff. But here is the focuser, and it does both plasma and polaron. But that's because they offer you can either go down the polaron path or you can go down the plasma path, and either path you pick, this will help you get extra damage. And it's a universal console, which means it won't take up a tactical slot, but yet give you all the tactical type bonuses like the what you get like the plasma relay. So, and then there's the Romulan Republic. They have all kinds of goodies. Experimental Romulan plasma beam array. It is part of a set, which is the Romulan hyperplasma torpedo launcher, and also the console 0-point energy conduit. Now these together, the 2-piece gives you plus 10% plasma weapon damage, plus 20 Starship Electroplasma system flow. The 3-piece gives you a special firing mode for the experimental Romulan beam array. Now it only says that. I used to run this set. It's not a. I'm trying to remember what that fire mode was. If I remember correctly, it was kind of like a beam overload. It gave you an extra beam overload, essentially.
But only for that weapon.
But only for that weapon. So it does matter which way you're facing if that weapon is not whatever you're fighting is not in that arc. So you do have to be mindful of that. And I don't know, do I still use... I used to use the 0-point module for my builds, but it is a
I just
nice
looked to see if I had it, and I don't.
I have it on a ship somewhere. But
Well, you have so many ships. Not that I don't, mind you. Under the crafting umbrella, you have a variety of plasma, beam arrays, omnis, cannons, turrets, all the normal stuff you can craft. But then you can also get the plasma infuser this way. So getting the plasma infuser this way, you can sell it on the exchange or trade it to a friend. Getting it from the Scylla and Charybdis mission, that is not tradable. It's bound as soon as you pick it up. Both are upgradable. So either way you go there. If you don't have access to the fleet stores, that's what you're looking for to boost plasma damage. Now the Zen store. So I had to look this up. Unlike most energy weapons in the game, plasma does not have a whole lot of dedicated sets. The sets that they do have aren't easy to come by. There are no mission plasma sets. So what we ended up with, there's a Zen store set, and then there is a Lobby store set. There's actually 2 Lobby store sets. The Zen store set comes from 3 ships. It's and 3 items. The items are the plasma quad cannons, which comes from the tier 4 Arcala tactical warbird. There's a console universal focused singularity modulator. This comes from the tier 5 Arcif tactical carrier warbird refit. And then there's a console universal destabilized tachyon emitters. This is from the tier 6 Jewel Ale tactical carrier warbird. The 2-piece set gives you a plus 10% plasma damage, plus 30 starship energy weapon. And my thingy here is missing. Oh, my printout didn't do real well. Stand by a second. Okay, so the 2-piece is plus 10% plasma damage, plus 30% Starship Energy Weapon Specialist. The 3-piece set is plus 2.5% crit chance, 15% recharge reduction to pilot BOF abilities, bridge officer abilities, and plus 3% accuracy. So if you can get all three of those, might be worth it. That crit chance alone can really help if you're doing a crit build. In the Lobby store, there's a couple consoles that are kind of good no matter what you're doing. The first is the tachyokinetic converter. The second is the interphase quantum distributor. Now that's primarily used for exotic particle generation, but it might be handy in a lot of other builds. It also gives you a proc of a Delphic distortion torpedo if you have the 2-piece set with that quantum distributor. Now, the set items in the Lobby store, again, these are 2 different plasma sets. The first is the advanced isolytic plasma. There's a dual beam bank and a cannon. And then there's a tricopod torpedo launcher and a universal console, the weapon sensor enhancer. The 2-piece set here just gives you a flat 25% plasma damage and tricobalt damage. The 3-piece set gives you plus 40 to kinetic resistance, plus 40 to weapon specialization, and plus 40 to hull pen. So if you're going plasma, you might as well try to that isolytic, see if you get all 3 of those. Each item there is 200 Lobby, so to get all of them is 600. But hey, if you have it, and then the second set is called the Ultimid Adaptation Set. This includes the Ultimid Modified Kelvin Torpedo, Ultimid Modified Plasma Omni, and a Universal Console, Ultimid Modified Swarm Processor. The 2-piece here lets you just fire an extra bolt of energy at an enemy when you either crit them or miss them. And then the 3-piece set is an activated ability that gives you a 100% boost to fire cycling haste. I use the Omni there because it is the only set plasma Omni in the game. So you can do a crafted Omni or one of the Omnis that you buy from a lockbox and then pair it with this Omni. That gives you 2 Omnis that you can equip. So even if you don't buy the console or the torpedo, buying this Omni can be really handy because it would give you 2 plasma Omnis. And then I'm going to let Grebog talk about the fleet, but the last thing we have here in this section is the Phoenix prize packs. Once again, if you can get the epic prize token and buy the Bajoran Denarios Interceptor, you can get the Domino console. The Domino console does have a flat boost to phaser damage, but the proc is not phaser specific and can be very, very handy on a lot of different energy builds. So Domino console from Epic prize token. All right, you can have the fleet here.
All right, at the starbase, like always, they have, whether you want beam cannons, whatever, there is a plasma weapon type of all the different things that you can pick up. It will be an advanced fleet plasma beam array or a cannon, whatever you're choosing for your ship. Definitely, if you can't get some of the other stuff, these are pretty good weapons to pick up until you can get the build you're going for. The colony, again, this is kind of more the meta for everyone, is the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector Array. It doesn't have anything to do with really plasma. It's just the kind of the meta. Everyone recommends you get it. At the Spire, this is where you pick up your tactical consoles if your fleet has them unlocked, which we do have them unlocked. So you can pick up either the tactical vulnerability locators or the tactical vulnerability exploiters. And depending upon again, they always sell them in a variety of flavors. So there is a plasma version, so that way you can get your, plasma damage and critical chance or critical severity, depending upon which one you pick up. And let's see.
Um,
So, lockbox. Or do we want to answer questions? We can
well,
save that
I
until
want to
the
back up for a
secondary.
second. I want to back up just a second here. Kramer's asking a lot about torpedoes, and he made me realize that we missed something from the Lobby store. In the Lobby store, there is a let's see, which one is it? I think maybe the Kelvin torpedo. I don't even know if I have it with me anymore.
Well, a part of the ultimate set, there is a modified Kelvin torpedo.
Is that the plasma torpedo? So each energy type has one torpedo in the game that deals that type of damage. So like there's a phaser torpedo, there's a disruptor torpedo, there's a plasma torpedo. I actually think now there's two plasma torpedoes because one of the new missions offers a new one. And the one I'm using is the Omega Plasma, which deals both kinetic and plasma damage. So any weapon that deals plasma damage, whether it's a beam, a cannon, or torpedo, the damage will be boosted by your consoles. So like I have the vulnerability locators. We'll talk about those in a minute. Or you go with the plasma consoles we've already mentioned. Those will also boost the damage of those individual torpedoes. Now, if the torpedo deals kinetic damage, like most torpedoes do, then that is not boosted by the plasma consoles or phaser consoles or whatever. It would only be affected by things that boost kinetic damage. I wanted to cover that real quick.
The ultimate one is kinetic. I'm not sure where the plasma torpedo.
There is one. It might be in the Phoenix. It might be in the Phoenix store. I thought it was Lobby, but there is one torpedo that you can buy that deals plasma damage. It is a targetable one though, which is why I really don't like it. But regardless, were you done with Fleet?
I was done with fleet. We're ready for the lockbox slash exchange. Which
Okay, now, um, all the plasma weapons in the game, there are not any that are equivalent to the meta we talked about earlier, like the spiral wave disruptors or the sensor linked phasers. There's just not anything that doesn't quite function on that proc. So you're going to space Barbie here. This is why plasma is one of the least favored weapon types in the game. They don't have the support. They don't have a lot of the same sets. Sets are harder to get, and they don't have any of them that don't function on a proc. So you're going for a lot of space Barbie here. On mine, as you can see here, I went with the assimilated plasma for a Borg theme. So my captain is a liberated Borg. My ship is decked out to look fairly assimilated here as I zoom in. And I went with almost entirely assimilated weapons. I do have two exceptions to that. I have the quad cannons, because why not? And then I have that ultimate plasma, I almost said phaser, plasma omni. But everything else is this assimilated thing, just because I like the visual of the Borg weapons. So in the lockboxes, you've got ultimate plasma weapons from the Kelvin Divergence or Infinity lockbox. You've got the assimilated from the Borg lockbox or the Infinity lockbox. You've got the plasma wave from the Nakul lockbox or the Infinity lockbox, which includes a console. And then you've got the from the Delta Expedition or the Infinity, you've got corrosive. Now the corrosive are interesting because their proc is a damage resistance debuff, and you can buy them from Mud's Market. Now, if you go with Mud's Market, you have to pay 8,000 Zen or $80, and you get 6 weapons. However, on the 10th, that 8,000 is going to be knocked off by 75%. So it's going to go down to, if my math is correct, going to go down to 2,000 Zen for 6 weapons. Might make it more worth it to you.
And something to note that buying them from Mud's Market this way. Why am I not seeing them now? Here, space.
Oh, they were there.
Yeah,
I found them
I'm just
earlier.
overlooking them. The thing to
Right
note
there.
is it does unlock it for your entire account. So every captain you pick up would be able to claim that corrosive plasma weapon pack. And it looks like it even comes with one ultimate tech upgrade, so you would be able to smack that onto one of those to make it completely maxed out and ready to go. So it's an interesting option. As for traits, as with like we've talked about with Phaser and Disruptor, there's no traits that seem to be specific for like a weapon damage. So basically, you would build your traits around what type of build, whether you're going with an Ox to Bat, EPG, what. Okay, I guess yeah, auxiliary to battery, or exotic particle build. Depending upon that would be what your traits are for, more or less. Did we? Now that we've covered all this, did we get all of the questions?
I think we did. I don't know. Kramer, did we miss any questions of yours?
I do want to note, since he was asking about torpedoes, something again going into the weeds of how the game works and math and stuff and things. If you're only going to do a single torpedo on the front of your in your 4 weapon slots, always put it in the far right weapon slot, because of the way the weapons cycle, you want the slowest weapon firing on the right. And torpedoes are always going to be the slower weapon firing. So, just something to think about when you are using weapons and different firing rates. It's because, from my understanding, it cycles from left to right. And, yeah. If it gets hung
It
on
does.
the torpedo, then your other weapons aren't going to fire as fast.
And that's true if you're going to carry more than one torpedo as well. You want the slowest firing one on the right.
I guess think of back if you played World of Warcraft, how you used to have rogues that needed to have a fast weapon in one hand and a slow weapon in the other. You know, got to have that massive backstab with the slow weapon. Slow weapons
But for
typically have.
regular combat, you wanted the faster one.
Yep.
I remember those days. All right, so we don't have a secondary target today. Did you want to mention anything about the fleet status updates or the fleet target?
Here, I will go. So the fleet's been doing kind of crazy things. Crazy in a good way. Uh, I'm trying to keep up with you guys and keeping projects queued. I have gone like. Uh-oh, my stream said it's offline. Is it offline? Please don't be offline. But
I am still seeing a stream.
okay, good. So the colony is getting pretty close to being done on the next tier for tier 4, doing quite well. We are getting close to completing tier 4 on a lot of this. The projects keep
Oh, now it
going
went
and
off.
going. I'll see. For me, it show it back alive again. It's my yeah. It, it's fine. We are currently waiting on the big projects on K13, and here tomorrow, sometime, well, 14 hours from now, the next big project will be ready. We will also be able to start requisitioning new duty officers and bridge officers once the project completes. If you want to get some of those 23rd century bridge officers or training manuals. Now, a lot of the training manuals they're mainly cosmetics. There's normally regular build or regular weapon types, but you can then buy a 23rd century and that has the same name, but it has like 23rd century tagged on the front, and it will just mainly be cosmetically different. It's not actually super different. It doesn't, I think, actually do different damage. An example would be like I'm an engineer, I can drop down a phaser turret, and I could get the 23rd century phaser turret, and it just means it would look like I dropped down an old school phaser turret instead of the more common or more current phaser turret. As for, yeah, we'll have the Xanotech starting then, which will be another big project. Once that triggers through, I believe it takes roughly 7, maybe 8 days for it to do the countdown once we get that all filled up. I don't know how quick we'll fill it up. I didn't think we'd fill up the first one that fast, but it was done within, I thought, 24 hours. It was quick. Like I said, you guys are doing some crazy fast stuff. Not complaining. It's kind of cool to see. And as for the starbase, we are moving right along. This takes a lot of. This is a huge cost. Essentially, this tier 5 is as much as all tiers 1 through 4 put together, to be able to get to complete. So that's why it's taking a while, but I mean, we're still moving right along with these, so yeah. That is the fleet. Also, you can, if you're wanting to join us, go to aie-guild.org. There is instructions on how to find us and how to become part of the or you can find Nikodas or real Grebog. We can get you into the fleet in game. I do highly encourage, though, to join the Discord, so that way you can talk with the rest of us. And if you have questions, we are very helpful. We will gladly help you figure new things out, where to spend your money if that's what you're looking for. I know that actually was a question, so definitely, if you're looking for help, we have a lot of helpful people. So,
well, and to plug AIE a little bit here, they play many different games. So almost any game that you might be playing, they have a group in. So if you need help, if you get stuck on something, or you just want people to run around in, run around with, AIE has a lot going for it. Kramer, there's really only one cash shop. That's the Zen store right here. In here, you can spend you can buy Zen and then use Zen to buy a variety of different items. This is the cash shop. Now, that said, you can pop over here to the dilithium exchange, and you can take your Zen, turn it into dilithium, and then spend that here in the dilithium store. So there is a way you can do the reverse too. You can turn dilithium into Zen and then buy things from the Zen store without spending real money. Although the current market, it takes a lot of dilithium to do that. But still, you could make that happen if you play the game a lot and get just tons and tons of dilithium. You can get 8,000 refined dilithium per day per character. So if you run a lot of characters and you spend a lot of time on each of them, you can work up some Zen that way. And I know people who do that. But there's only one real cash store that's right here.
And oh, are there so many things to buy?
Oh, although here's something that might confuse you. At one point in time, the Zen store was called the C store. Um, so it's had a couple different names. So if you hear people talking about it in different terms, they're probably using one of the older names for it. Currently, it's the Zen store or the Z store. But it has gone by other names before too. But it all's talking about this button at the bottom left of your mini map that takes you to the store right here.
And C store was because Cryptic wanted their name on it.
Muds is, but it's part of the same store. So you get to Muds by clicking that button, going to the Zen store, and then Muds Market is a tab inside the Zen store.
It's a way that they are offering, basically, if you remember Mud from any of the shows, the various Muds, it's a way that essentially they can explain bringing back some ships or other items that they were either part of a special event, a lockbox, or something that was hard to get or people might have missed. And with Mud's Market, they can bring it back with in the Zen store under the Mud's Market.
The Lobi store, you get to from one of the Ferengi locations. I don't have any Lobi on me. Or
There's a
if you
trick.
have some Lobi in your inventory, you can double click on it to open the Lobi store that way. That is not a real money store. Um, the Lobi you get from opening lock boxes. There's no way to buy Lobi directly. You have to open the lock boxes.
Another way to get to the Lobi store is to go into the event campaign. If you go into the big event campaign, there is a Lobi store button that you can just click to open right there. I
Oh,
found that
so
out.
there is.
Yeah, I was like, that's very handy. And it makes it so you don't have to go to one of the special vendors or have Lobi to like trigger it to open. But you can find all kinds of, again, special items. Some things that go directly here. Sometimes they have been putting some of the ships that. Well, I don't think there's any of the special event ships haven't gone here. Most of those went to Phoenix. So, yeah. But there's normally like a sister ship to something that's in the lockbox. Normally, when they bring out a new lockbox ship, they will have a secondary ship that will then go direct to the Lobi store.
Herald, Zindi Primate. There's a bunch of ships in here.
There's all kinds of, you name it, there's stuff in here.
All right, so yeah, basically, consolation prize for gambling by getting the Lobi. Yes, that's the theory behind it. So even if you're not lucky enough to, like, say you open 400 boxes, um, and you don't get the ship, you should, in theory, get enough Lobi to then go buy a ship. So yes, it is the consolation prize. I don't really play the lockbox game. Um, the Lobi, most of the Lobi I have gotten over the years has come from special events and whatnot, which do award Lobi sometimes, or occasionally they'll give you some free keys just to say, "Hey, go open a few boxes," and I've done that. Um, I can count on one hand the number of times that I've purposely bought keys to go open boxes. Um, and usually it is for a Lobi item. Like I need 50, Lobi to get this new weapon, so I'll go open 10 boxes and hopefully get enough Lobby that way to go buy what I want. But yeah, it is the consolation prize. All right, so it's 3 minutes till 10. I was actually hoping to run something, but I think we're out of time here. So next week we're going to highlight some of the TFOs in game. We haven't really decided which ones yet. So if anybody watching this, either now or if you see it later on YouTube, if you have something you want us to see, then again, go to fleetactionreport.com. You can find us all the contact information there. Or if you are part of AIE, you can just look us up on Discord and leave us a message there, and we'll take it under advisement. We haven't done this for a while outside of a special event. The last time we did it, we hit a couple of the Borg TFOs, so I'm probably going to move away from the Borg unless we get a request to highlight those, and we'll hit something else. But we'll detail like how to complete the TFO, if there's any optional objectives, all that stuff, and kind of cover them. We're hoping to run 2, maybe even 3 TFOs, depending on how long it takes us. And that's next Monday. Any closing comments, concerns, Grebog?
Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head. Other than I wish my ISP was more stable with the internet connection.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do about that in the coming weeks. I have a plan, maybe, but I will need your help for it. So we'll see how that goes. Kramer, you have nothing to apologize for. I don't mind questions. As a matter of fact, I wish more of our viewers would interact with us on that same level. That's kind of what we're here for, and it gives us ideas on things that we might need to cover in upcoming episodes. So absolutely nothing to apologize for. Thank you for your contribution. And I guess we'll leave you as we always do. The words of Q at the end of the next generation. See you out there.
Live long and prosper.